What's up, collectors? Welcome back to Films by Color and to another episode of the Physical Media Rundown here on the channel, the weekly live show where we talk about all the new Blu-rays and 4K releases that are coming out this week. It's the last week of the month, so we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to cover this evening, including a bunch of boutique releases from all kinds of boutique labels. We've got Radiance, BFI, Eureka, and of course, Vinegar Syndrome and Criterion. We've got a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff to talk about as always. They always drop a bunch of stuff on the last week of the month, which brings us to our topic of discussion for this evening. We've got more titles that were sold out before the release date even got here. And I've heard some rumblings, or I guess it wasn't really like rumors, it was just people wanting and wishing online that these would come back in print. I also wish that one of these would come back in print because I really want one of these titles. So we'll talk about that in the live chat this evening. We shoot the show right here on YouTube live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to come out and join us. We always have a good time talking movies and physical media and collecting in general. And we'd love to have you come out and join us. It's always a good time. Thank you so much, guys, for liking and commenting on this video and sharing it with other collectors so we can get the word out on these releases and do our little part to keep physical media up and running. It's always fun. So let's go ahead and jump into the new releases. Before we do that, we'll see who's in the chat here. And then I have another edition of Media Mail here because someone sent me some stuff from my Amazon wish list. And I want to give a little shout out because there are some really cool titles. So let's see who's in the chat first. I see both of my moderators here. Thank you, John and Jeffrey. Good to see you guys. We've got Kevin. We've got Baloney. Let me go ahead and get the chat running up in here so we can see your comments. How's that? Is that working? There it is. There it is. We've got Mark's Movie Menu, Carrie Witt popping in for another Monday show. Michael Smith is here. Baloney says, DJ, I received the Showing Out Blu-ray in the mail. Thank you again. Baloney was one of the winners of our last giveaway, so thank you so much for joining. Baloney, I hope you enjoyed the movie. You said you were looking forward to it in the comments, so I hope it's a good time for you. I still got to give away that Conan release. Sorry there's been no videos on the channel this past week. It's been a busy week. I had a guest staying with us over the weekend, friend of mine, contributor of the channel, used to be on the channel a lot more than he has been lately, but Connor came to visit with me over the weekend. We shot a couple videos together. We went out to Barnes & Noble, did some aerial video hunting with John and Grace, and we did a Videodrome trip and looked around there. So we had a great time, watched a lot of movies, and I'm sure that'll come up later on in the stream. But it was a good weekend. But now I'm back, and I should be able to get some videos up for you pretty soon. Let me see who else is here in the chat. Your friend, Mr. Jones. Hey, everyone, watching from work, and I'll need to leave soon. Very excited for my purchases from the Vincent sale coming in soon. Are they finally coming? I ordered some things in that sale, too, and they are, I don't even think they've shipped yet. It's been a long time, all the way back the first week of January. But they usually take a long time to ship stuff. What else do we got here? Ethan says, I thought Connor would stay through today. He did stay through today, but his flight was like at 7:30 this morning, so we had to get up at 4:30, so I've been up for a long time. So if I'm a little tired during this show, sorry. But I'm going to do my best to get through all the new releases. Thanks, guys, for hopping in. We've got a good crowd here going already, but I'm going to jump into some new releases, and then I'll talk to you guys as we go. As always, let's switch over to the second screen, and here we go right into it. The Keep and Hundreds of Beavers. These went out of print like forever ago. I just assumed these had already come out because I had heard they've been sold out for so many months. I don't know if like they have that many subscribers now that they just go out of print from the subscriptions before they're even released to the regular public, or what's going on. But the Keep 4K release and Hundreds of Beavers on Blu-ray, if we click on these, we can see this is a beautiful set. I've seen this all over the internet. It's already going on eBay for like $100 or more, which is crazy, but it's their hard box slip covers that they do. Slip boxes, I guess, that come out from the side. And that's the 4K. If you click on it, well, I'm going to show you Hundreds of Beavers, actually, because it takes you to the Vincent website. Hundreds of Beavers, great movie. I just watched this last week. Maybe one of the most wintry movies I've ever seen. It takes place in, like, the snowy forests of Canada or somewhere. Looks awesome. Look at this cover, by the way. This looks really cool. This was a 2022 movie, but I totally missed it. I think it went under the radar. I think it was pretty independent, but it came to theaters last year, or 2023, I think, maybe 2024, and I missed it again. I didn't even hear about it till it was already gone and out of theaters. It played like one night at the Plaza Theater, so I missed it, but I caught it. It's on Amazon Prime right now if you want to watch it. Really, really cool movie, super creative, endlessly creative. Like, it's just one-upping itself the entire time. It's like a throwback to Charlie Chaplin and silent comedy. It's even like the frame rate is sped up, and it's also got some video game elements in it. It's like I think I described it in my review. I don't know if I even posted a review, but I was going to describe it as Charlie Chaplin meets Looney Tunes meets Oregon Trail, because it's basically what it is. And it was wonderful, and I loved it, and I had a great time with it. And it's Cartoona. Cartoona is putting it out on the Vincent website. Looks like this is going to take me to Amazon. So you can see it's sold out on Amazon. It's also sold out on the website. You got the limited edition slipcover version, already sold out, and the standard edition, already sold out, which does not happen on Vincent that fast very often. This thing sold out like crazy. So hopefully this will come back in print. I hope, because I want to buy this movie and I don't want to pay $100 for it on eBay. But yeah, that's a bummer. And I've heard, this is Cartoona. This is actually one of the ones I already bought in the sale. It's going to be coming whenever those ship out. So I like Cartoona. I like that they are focusing on animation in these releases. So I'd love to get that Hundreds of Beavers release as well. This is I guess the Santa Claus Conquers the Martians also went out of print pretty quickly, but the standard I think is still in print. This one went out on both, which sucks. I think it's only limited to 2,000 copies. So it's very limited. I've heard before of Vinegar Syndrome bringing the slipcover editions, the limited editions, back in print, but who knows if that'll happen on this. I don't know. I hope so, but who knows? We've also got Cannibal the Musical, which also came out around the same time as The Keep. This is not out of print. You can get this right here. This is the standard edition. I'm assuming the limited edition's already out of print, but this is the standard edition. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, so I won't focus too much on it. We talked about it a couple months ago now, I guess, when the limited came out. It is, exactly what it sounds like. But this is the standard edition, so if you missed the limited edition, or if you're someone who just doesn't want to pay that much and you just want the standard edition, this is coming out as well. There's 5,000 copies of this one, and it is in print. You can get it on Amazon or Vincent's website. And then also from Vinegar Syndrome, I'll do one more here. We've got Last Embrace getting a standard edition from Cinematograph. Cinematograph is usually, the packaging is these nice, lovely digibook editions with the hard slipcase and everything. But they also do standard editions for the people that don't care about the extra packaging or the extra like reading material. And this is the standard edition. This was one of the ones that was on sale for very cheap. I think it was like $23 in the January sale. So it looks like they're trying to sell out that stock and then drop the limited here in the last week of January. It's going for $50 on Amazon right now, which is pretty crazy for a standard edition 4K. I don't know if that's the price on Vincent's website or not, but that seems pretty crazy. That's one of the more popular titles, though, from the Cinematograph line. I've heard a lot of people mention Last Embrace. That one's more well-known than a lot of the other ones we talked about. We're going to talk about some other Cinematograph releases here in a minute. They've got some other limiteds coming out. But let's go ahead and see what people are saying. I want to know what you guys think. Did any of you grab these before they went out of print? Because PM me on Instagram and see. Well, we'll see what we can do. See if you're up for selling that one, because I really liked it and I would love to pick it up. Let's see. Jason. Mr. Wayne, have you ever been to the New York Barnes & Noble? No, I've not. I've never been to New York at all. Ever. So hopefully I can go there at some point. I'd love to. And of course, I'd love to visit a Barnes & Noble while I'm there. We got Jason here saying that the standard versions will come back in print. So that's good. That's good to hear. I hope that's true, because I was a little confused whether it was, because it's coming out tomorrow. I wasn't sure if it was sold out before it came out or if it's just listed as sold out on the website and then they're going to drop more tomorrow, because this is January 28th this is coming out and we're shooting this on the 27th. Wave is here in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for your contribution. All standard editions will come back in print unless they are listed under the going out of print tab. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I might just settle and get the Hundreds of Beavers standard edition because it looks really good. Michael Smith, speaking of animation, finally watched Fantastic Planet Acid Trip on film. Good. I'm glad you watched it. There's apparently something coming soon from the same director. I can't remember which one it was, but he's only done 3 films. And not Criterion, they didn't announce anything, but Janus did a restoration trailer for one of René Laloux's other films. Not the same kind of animation, but it is the same director, and I have seen it, and it's pretty good. So I am hoping that comes to Criterion pretty soon. It's usually telling when Janus does a restoration trailer, so I'm excited for that. But I'm glad you like Fantastic Planet. I really like that one a lot. I've seen it a couple times now. Three times? Mr. Wayne, sorry I have dinner. I'll watch the stream after. Don't need to apologize. Enjoy your dinner. I will talk to you later. And make sure you leave some comments down below so I can get your thoughts. Jonathan Danner. I was able to get the wooden slipcover version from the Hundreds of Beavers website. That is awesome. I'm assuming that came out even before the Vincent one did. I didn't even hear about that one. I have heard about it now, but I didn't long out of print before I even heard of it. Let's see. Tiana Loves Movies popped in. Hey, everyone. And we've got Carrie Witt saying Fantastic Planet makes an appearance in The Cell. Oh, that's cool. That just came out from Arrow Video. We've a lot of talk about that one because of the whole error on the disc. But we talked about that last week. We don't need to talk about it again. But I didn't know that Fantastic Planet was in there. I know there's like a lot of flashing images on screens and stuff, so that makes sense. Next one here, some people are going to be really excited about. This is Just Friends from 2005, which I've only heard about like from people here on YouTube. It is like a rom-com, a raunchy rom-com, I think. I don't know. Not exactly my thing, but it is Ryan Reynolds and who else? Anna Faris. That's who's in this. Wow. Very early 2000s cast. Look at this. Look at this cover. This is kind of like a, well, I won't get too far into it, but it is a romantic comedy, and I think it takes place at Christmas time. I've heard some people talk about this like it's a Christmas movie. It's finally getting a Blu-ray from Warner Archive, of all things, which I would not expect. Warner Archive, I guess they put out some 2000s films, but not very often. It's very, very different from their usual catalog, but that's cool. I'm glad some people are going to be excited about that one. I hope it's a good transfer. I am always a proponent of things getting Blu-ray releases that have never got them before, and there's still a ton of stuff that's stuck on DVD. And that's similar films you can see. She's the Man, Euro Trip. Now, wow, look at how similar all of these 2000s rom-com covers look. 2000s comedies, you're gonna have a white background, you're gonna have red text. That's what you're gonna have. Very standard. Let's see, what else is coming out? Winchester 73 is criminally low on this list. We've got a brand new Criterion release from Anthony Mann. I actually saw this at Barnes & Noble on Saturday. We went to Barnes & Noble this week, and this was already out on the desk, but they don't let you buy it until release date. So I couldn't pick it up. I'll probably wait till the July sale, but this is definitely going to be a day one pickup on the July sale for me. I'm very excited about this one. I have to buy everything that has James Stewart in it, and I have seen this one. It was on the Criterion channel a couple years ago, and I watched it with Grace. We both enjoyed it quite a bit. This is part of it's an Anthony Mann, James Stewart collaboration. They did a bunch of Westerns together. I was hoping for a box set, but we at least got this one, which just happened to be the only one that I watched. So I'm very excited about it. That's from 1950, and the cover art looks really good. I'm excited to watch that one again. That is coming soon. That is getting a 4K release. I should mention that. 4K Blu-ray combo pack, or you can just get the standalone Blu-ray. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's really good. It is more of just a straightforward, just good guys, bad guys Western, but James Stewart is really, really good at that. Similar to Destry Rides Again, although I think I like Destry Rides Again. I think there's a little bit more going on in that one, but I like this one quite a bit as just your standard comfort food, like Western, like straight across the board, normal Western movie. Liked it quite a bit, and James Stewart's great. He's always great, and I can't wait to pick that one up. I think that might be the only Criterion dropping this week, but we'll have to look at that in just a second here. I'm going to finish this row. I think that's good. Let's talk about Just Friends and Winchester 73. Actually, let me do one more here, because we got a Kino Lorber release. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to talk about a couple international releases, because like I mentioned at the beginning, some of the UK Blu-ray labels are dropping stuff this week, and I want to make sure I shed some light on those too. This is Sea of Love, getting a 4K Blu-ray combo pack from Kino Lorber, a crime drama from 1989. This is Frank Keller, a New York detective investigating a case of serial killer who finds the victims through the Lonely Hearts column in newspapers. Pretty cool premise on this one. Keller falls in love with Helen, the main suspect in the case. So there's also a little bit of romance going on in this one. This has got a great cast, too. It's Al Pacino, Ellen Barkin, John Goodman, and Michael Rooker in this movie. Speaking of John Goodman, one of the movies we just watched this weekend was The Big Lebowski. Connor had never seen The Big Lebowski, and it's one of Grace's favorite movies ever. So we popped that in this weekend and had such a good time watching it. It was lovely. But Sea of Love I've not seen. So I like John Goodman. I think I've loved him in True Story. I mean, everything I've seen him in, he's great. I still want to see Matinee. Haven't seen that yet, but I've been watching a lot of John Goodman stuff recently with True Stories from Criterion and also Big Lebowski. Anyway, Sea of Love. Let me know if you've seen that one, because I've not seen that one yet. Let's talk to you guys in the chat for a little bit, and then I've got some UK stuff I want to talk about. Make sure we cover that. Let's see what's going on over here. Patrick Williams, hey, DJ, New York Barnes & Noble is 555 Fifth Avenue, New York City. I was there 2 weeks ago and picked up Inglourious Basterds 4K box set, 50% off. That's awesome. I think I've seen a video where Elliot Cohen went to the New York Barnes & Noble, I believe. I think that's the only time I've ever seen that store. It looks awesome. It looks way more stocked than my stores, so I would love to go there someday. That would be a really cool road trip. I would love to do a Criterion road trip. That'd be a lot of fun. Wave says Wooden Slip came out after the Vincent partner label Sliver Cove sold out in like 2 hours. They saw the demand on release day and made a special version for their site. It was $75, I believe. Whew! That's still better than the secondhand prices on eBay for it. It's like $90 to $100 right now to get the Vincent one, which just sucks. But I might have to settle for the standard because I really like the movie and I just want to have it. I don't want to watch it on Amazon all the time, so I may do that. But thanks for all the info, Wave. I don't know if you've commented on the stream before, so I really appreciate it. I love when I've got some like knowledgeable people about Vincent because I'm still very new to Vinger syndrome, and I love learning things about it. So thank you guys. I know there's been a lot of people that have been way into this label way longer than I have. I only have just a few titles, but it's been fun learning about it. It's one of the best labels. Michael Smith on the cell. I prefer the picture of the Blu-ray. 4K is more muted, in my opinion. Well, yeah, I think that happens sometimes. I think there was a lot of Blu-rays that were like super boosted, like the contrast, or maybe not the contrast, but the saturation was really boosted. So when you watch them on 4K, it might look more muted and dark, but I think it's supposed to be closer to the original intended look. But I think that varies, obviously. Depends on, from movie to movie, it varies. Dan's Den, Just Friends brings back memories of watching Memories, that movie back in 2006, back when Reynolds was still just the Van Wilder guy. Yeah, it seems like he did several movies after that, where he was kind of playing the same role. And now he just plays Deadpool and everything. Carrie Witt, Just Friends is the most Reynoldsy of Ryan Reynolds movies. It's actually not bad. Yes, it is a Christmas movie. Connor Nielsen, Ryan Reynolds standing in front of white background. Classic Ryan Reynolds hallmark. Didn't he do the Proposal has the exact same poster. What is that? Sandra Bullock? Internet user, I've recently rewatched another Stuart Mann Western called The Far Country. Really dug it. Sweet. I'd love to watch more of their stuff. I don't think they're still on the channel, unfortunately, though. Beetlejuice, hey, what's up, DJ? 14 likes. Thank you, Beetlejuice, for always reminding us to like videos. I really appreciate it. Carrie Witt, the Ryan Reynolds Holy Trinity would be Van Wilder, Waiting, and Just Friends. Wasn't he in another movie called, like, Definitely Maybe or something that was similar to that? I've not seen a lot of Ryan Reynolds movies. My favorite Ryan Reynolds movie is Paper Man, and it always will be because it is the best. Pre-mint mobile Ryan Reynolds, says Brent. Your friend Mr. Jones loved the story structure of Winchester 73, almost like a collection of short stories with a strong frame. That's pretty cool. I didn't think about it like that. It does have a fantastic climax. That kind of reminds me of Sahara? Is that what it's called? What's that Humphrey Bogart film noir that we just watched? Holy crap. Hamdan is back with a super chat. Hey, DJ's Hamdan from Dubai again. Hope you're all well. Been going through a lot of your old videos of Criterion Huntings with John. They are my favorite. Keep it up, man. I was wondering about your watching goals for this year as well. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. I didn't click on it. There it is. Sorry, guys. Now you can read it. Thank you so much. And great question. This is something I've been wanting to talk about. Haven't had time to film a video about it, I'm probably just going to break down and just do a live stream where we just cover everything in one swoop, and I don't have to edit a really long video. But I'll talk about it here a little bit since you gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Watching goals for this year. I don't know. Well, I guess I do have some. I'll get into the specific ones, but just as a general rule, I want to focus on buying less. I think this is pretty much the standard thing that all of us are collectors are having to think about this year, because last year was nuts. Last year was crazy. It was like the most physical media releases that have ever come out in a year, at least boutique stuff. Like boutique labels are going crazy these days, and there's so many of them cropping up. And I got a little carried away last year. Some other people did as well. And I'm going to try to slow down this year, buy less. I've already mentioned this a little bit on the channel. Like, I'm going to stop buying like little one-offs here and there. Like every time you go to like a secondhand store or something and you find... I got to the point where I was like going to CD Warehouse, and anytime there was any like boutique labels, I'd be like, oh, I never see boutique labels in the wild, so I want to grab these. And I was just grabbing stuff. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get time to watch it. I know I can't. I have too much stuff to get to everything, or at least if I continued going at the rate I was going, it would be impossible to get to everything. So I want to focus on slowing down, not just buying something because it sounds interesting or because it's a boutique label. I want to actually focus on buying stuff that I have a plan to watch. I've been doing a little bit better in January. I've been watching newer things that have just come out, like some indicator stuff and some what else is stuff? The Deaf Crocodile stuff. I've been catching up on recent releases, so I've been doing better about that. I want to focus on more boutique, like deluxe special editions for movies that I really want to watch, and less like completist kind of collecting, like focusing on just because it's a boutique label. Like Warner Archive and Kino Lorber have put out thousands of things, and I don't need to just buy them because they're from those labels. So I'm going to slow down on little one-off releases, which don't be worried. We're still going to do hunting videos and stuff. I'm just going to be a little bit more particular about what I buy. We'll still do hunting videos. We'll still talk about stuff in stores. I'm still going to be buying Criterion in the sales, but I am going to limit like the tertiary label stuff that I went a little crazy last year. So I'm going to slow down on that stuff a little bit. As far as like specific watching goals, I got several box sets last year that I didn't get a chance to dig into. I've mentioned a couple of those. I want to get into the Decalogue box set, which I got last year, which is right there. Also, the Fassbinder box sets are back there. I want to knock some of those out as well, start making progress on those. The Belatar box set I also got. So I've been getting director box sets. So I want to focus on some of those this year, get specific and knock out some of their filmographies, because it's just stuff I'm really interested in, but my attention is divided by so much stuff coming out. So mainly the goal is buy less and watch more of the stuff that I'm really interested in, and stop being so distracted by all the stuff coming out. Another like little goal that I want to do, I want to buy all of the Criterion. This is a Criterion goal, and I'm pretty close to it already, so I think it's a very achievable goal. I want to own all of the silent films in the Criterion collection. There's not that many. I own all of the big ones, all the Charlie Chaplins and the Harold Lloyds and the one Buster Keaton film that they have. And I own most of them already, but there's a few stragglers here and there. Some of them out of print, like Nanic of the North, that I'm going to have to track down on eBay or something like that. But I want to own all the silent films. That's a very important part of film history that I really enjoy, and I want to have those. So that's a small one that I'm going to do, and hopefully I will watch through those as well as I pick those up. Another personal goal is Deaf Crocodile. I want to complete my Deaf Crocodile collection. I've only got 2 more that I need, and I want to finish watching through Deaf Crocodile this year. So there's like maybe 8 or 9 that I haven't watched yet from Deaf Crocodile, so I want to watch those this year as well. So that's a little bit of the stuff I want to do this year. Very specific. I'm honing in on specific labels, like Criterion, Deaf Crocodile, and I want to get more into Radiance. Like, those are the big 3 that I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to be focusing more on boutique stuff this year. So if you like boutique stuff, stay tuned, stick around. More of that stuff's going to be coming. And then I'll pepper in some studio releases here and there throughout the year, but mostly boutique stuff this year. Great question. Thank you so much for the incredible super chat, Hamdan. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll make you proud. I will spend it some people got mad at me. I think it was just one guy that was ranting at me. But when I did because last time Hamdan gave me a super chat, I went ahead and bought the Never Ending Story box set, which is just off camera right up there. And someone was like, "Oh, taking advantage of your users. He doesn't know any better. Like, don't you waste his money on movies." And Hamdan specifically told me to use it for a movie. Like, that was why he gave it to me. So I'm not taking advantage of anybody. He appreciates the video, and he wants me to get something special. So really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Hope to talk to you in the rest of the stream. Don't go anywhere. I mean, you don't have to give any more super chats, but definitely, put some comments in the stream. I'd love to talk to you about more stuff. All right, I'm going to jump to new releases because I talked a long time for that, but I will scroll back up and catch up on what you guys have just been talking about. If you have any thoughts on some of those goals that I mentioned, I was a little scattering all over the place, but that's some of the stuff I've been thinking about this year. Next up, I'm going to jump to today's releases. So UK releases come out different than us. So all this stuff is coming up tomorrow, but today, on the 27th, we've got some UK stuff coming out. Cure is coming out on 4K from Eureka Entertainment. Look at that slipcover right there. This is part of the Masters of Cinema line. Of course, this is also released from Criterion. If we're here in the States, we've got the Criterion Blu-ray. But if you want it in 4K, you got to go to the Eureka version. And if you're out of the States, you have a good, nice quality version of it there. Yeah, that's a really cool slipcover. I love the Masters of Cinema series. It's hard to get because when I started collecting, most of it was already out of print. Eureka does very limited runs on stuff. I would love to get more of it, but it's very expensive on eBay. I see people online with those complete Eureka collections, and I'm very jealous, but I do want to start specifically knocking out some of those. Not all of them. Like I said, I'm getting away from completing collections. I just want to focus on the movies that I really want to grab. But this is right now $25 on Amazon. Amazon.uk, which you can totally buy from. You can use your standard Amazon account, and it'll log you in over there. You pay a little bit more in shipping because it is overseas, but if you want to get Cure on 4K, that's your best bet. We also have The Gift coming out from Arrow Video UK. Really nice looking 4K set. 2000 film by Sam Raimi. Arrow's been doing several Sam Raimi films lately. I just got A Simple Plan on 4K back there, which looks really cool, and I kind of want to watch that before winter's over, because it's a very wintry looking film. This is a psychological thriller, a horror supernatural mystery starring Billy Bob Thornton. Oh no, written by Billy Bob Thornton. That's crazy. Starring Cate Blanchett, Keanu Reeves, Katie Holmes, and Greg Kinnear. Very 90s cast. Coming out right at the turn of the century, 2000. The Gift, getting a 4K release. Then we've got BFI dropping 2 Kurosawa classics. We've got Stray Dog coming to Blu-ray right here. Here's the cover on that one. So cool. I love how it's just a frame of the film, but you can see the grain and like the speckling and stuff on it, the dust. That's really cool. And then I haven't seen Stray Dog yet. Let me know if you guys love that one. I also have seen High and Low, and that's also coming out from BFI this week on Blu-ray. Look at this. This is an incredible movie. I watched this with 2 friends during Noirvember last year because it's kind of connected. It's a crime thriller mystery film, and it was amazing. It blew me away. I was expecting it to be good already because it's Kurosawa, but awesome film. One of my favorite things I watched last year. Really like that one. And then we've got Sahara coming out from Indicator, Powerhouse Films Indicator series, starring Humphrey Bogart. Look at that. This is not the film I was talking about earlier. I did not mean Sahara. I meant High Sierra. That's a different film. That is a noir film. This looks like an adventure film. This looks pretty cool. This is a war. Okay, it's a war film starring Humphrey Bogart, 1943. I love Indicator. Another label I'm going to cherry pick from because I can't afford to collect all of it. But I do really want to get more Indicator stuff because they're doing cool stuff. So they're putting out Sahara this week and The Shepherd of the Hills, which is another adventure film, but this one is a Western. And it looks like a ton of fun. That looks awesome. Starring John Wayne, Betty Field, and Harry Carey. Henry Hathaway, that's awesome. Okay. I'm going to have to look into those because those both look really cool, and Grace loves Humphrey Bogart. We watched so many Humphrey Bogart last November in Noirvember, so that's another one that we haven't seen. So some great stuff coming out overseas. Also, Radiance dropping some stuff both in the UK and in the US. Radiance is still doing US versions, and they're dropping Underworld Beauty this week, which is from Radiant Films, limited to 3,000 copies like they always do. Here it is, 1958 another Japanese film from Radiance. They have been cranking out Japanese, French, and Italian films, specifically Italian and Japanese films. They've been doing a bunch of those stuff. This is a film noir from 1958, and I have not seen any Japanese film noirs, I don't think, unless you count High and Low, but that's later. I have not seen any 50s Japanese film noirs, so I'm excited. I'm excited to look more into that. I do have the box set back there from Radiance, the volume 1 of their noir box set, which does have a Japanese film in it. So I want to get into that. Here's another one, and then they're also releasing Weak Spot this week, if I can find it. Yep, here it is, 1975's Weak Spot, another thriller film. I think it's more of a spy film, though. I looked into this one a couple weeks ago. Set in modern period in Greece during the time known as the Rule of the Colonels, the story concerns the cat and mouse police investigation of Georgie, a travel agent, for his possible involvement in the death of a man under surveillance. So, excuse me, not a spy film, like a police drama, police thriller. And that is a French movie. So there you go. You got another French film from, this is really cool artwork. I actually really, really like this artwork. It actually looks like artwork from René Laloux's collaborator on Fantastic Planet. If you ever look up his work, it's incredible. Like the guy that did the character designs for Fantastic Planet, it was animated by a Czech animation company, but the art director who worked with René Laloux is incredible, and his artwork reminds me of this. It looks very similar to this. And I can't remember his name right now, of course. Who's it? Roland Topor. Roland Topor did the art design for Fantastic Planet. And he didn't do his other two films. He didn't do Laloux's other two films, and it shows. You can see you can really miss him in those other two films. But Fantastic Planet kind of broke him. He never wanted to do a movie after that because it was a ton of work. But Weak Spot, I'm sure it has nothing to do with that. It just has similar artwork on the front, but it does seem like a fun little crime thriller from the 70s. I was interested in that one. I think that was a pretty popular one too. I think that was selling out on the site pretty quickly. And then we got a couple more things to get into here. We have a lot more to get into, but we'll take a little break here and talk to you guys in the chat. Thank you again, Hamdan. Really, really appreciate it. And anyone who donates to the channel in any capacity, super chats are always appreciated. And I totally forgot. You know what? I totally forgot to do the little mail segment here. So let me go ahead and do that. Thank you for reminding me. This is 2 items from my Amazon wish list. These come from, I'll look at the little Amazon note here. I always keep these. So make sure if you do send me something, you write me a note because I always hold on to these. Happy birthday from Sean Cornwell. So my birthday was last Wednesday, and he was gracious enough to send me some Blu-rays. So we've got National Velvet, which is a Warner Archive. Both of these are from Warner Archive. Thank you so much, because that is a label that I love, but I have a hard time prioritizing sometimes because they do put out a ton of stuff. But this is a film that I've been interested in for a while because it's a family film. It's rated G. It is from I think it's 60s. They do not put the date in an easy to find place. Oh wow, it's actually 40s. That's really cool. 1944, National Velvet. It's a family film, something I wanted to show my kids, and it's a Technicolor movie, which I always love. Looks very bright and vibrant back there, very colorful. A horse film. Look at that. And I'm not remembering exactly what it's about at this point, but I remember when I added it to my wish list, I had just done some research on Letterboxd for some family films from back in the day, and I was interested enough to add it. So I know I'm going to check that one out soon. The other one here is Tarzan the Ape Man, which is a fantastic adventure movie from 1932. Such a fun movie. Don't expect it to age well because it was 1932, and it's an adventure movie, and it uses like a bunch of stock footage from like African safaris and stuff, but it's so fun. This is the original, it says right here in the back, the daddy of all Tarzan pictures. Not the first one, because of course we had silent films. This is a sound film, very early sound film, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer film, but it stars Johnny Weissmuller, and that's where that famous Weissmuller scream comes from. The Tarzan yell that you have all heard a million times, that comes from this, and they reuse it in like several of the other Tarzan films after this. This is a ton of fun. It gets very crazy at the end with like an army of little people and like a giant ape monster Bigfoot thing, but it's really fun and it's charming, and I love this style of like this era of adventure movies like King Solomon's Mines and stuff like that. Great, love that so much. Thank you so much for the gifts, Sean Cromwell. I don't know, Cornwell, excuse me. I don't know if that's your name on here or if you have a different name, but the name he wrote on here is Sean, so thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate those. Happy to have those in the collection. I've wanted that Tarzan the Ape Man forever. It's been going up and down in price, and I've almost picked it up so many times. I'm glad I held off because it's a great gift. So these were sent to me from the Amazon wish list, which is in the description of all my videos. You can find it if you want to send me anything, but I really appreciate that, buddy. Let's see what people are saying here. Let's go back a little bit. Dance Dan says Sea of Love is Pacino's big comeback movie. That's interesting. Kevin House, wow, Hamdan sure does know how to make an entrance. He does. He's very very classy, very classy. Really appreciate that, buddy. And Patrick Williams, he's talking to Jeffrey, so I'm gonna not show that one. I don't want to show people's conversations. Let me get a little head here. People are talking about, oh, Brent here. Guys, R.I.P. David Lynch. Who else was gutted? My favorite filmmaker. Connor, my friend who stayed with me this weekend, his favorite filmmaker and artist in general is David Lynch, so I know it hit him really hard. So it was great to hang out with him this weekend. And we did watch a David Lynch film together, which was lovely, watching something that he loves with him. Really appreciated that. Like I said, we showed him 2 films he hadn't seen. We actually ended up showing him 2 buddy, best friend movies. So we showed him Big Lebowski, like I said, which I think he really liked. We had a great time watching it. And then last night, John came over. So all 4 of us, me and Grace, John, and Connor, watched Sideways together, which is one of my personal favorites. And I love it. And I think Connor liked that one too. So it was really great. Ethan Edwards, Fargo is amazing. Coen's best and one of the best of the 90s. Fargo is also my favorite Coen Brothers movie. I almost wanted to just throw that in right after we watched Big Lebowski because I just wanted to keep the Coen Brothers train going. But we decided to go Sideways because Connor already owns the Fargo 4K from Shout Factory, so he can watch that one when he gets back, but he doesn't own Sideways, so we went ahead and watched that. And it was great, and I'm glad we did. We had a great time last night. Mark's movie menu. I love the Big Lebowski. Have you seen Goodman in 10 Cloverfield Lane? Yes, I have. And I feel like the Big Lebowski is why he got that role, because he's absolutely terrifying. But it's in a funny way in Big Lebowski. It's not in a funny way in 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie's horrifying. I've only seen it once, though. I saw it pretty early on after it came out, but I haven't gone back to it. I feel like I would have loved more movies in that franchise that were similar to that one. That was great. Didn't really need to be a Cloverfield movie, though. It was great all by itself. Okay, people talking back and forth about David Lynch. I'm happy about that. Keep it going, guys. I won't interrupt. Kevin House says I really like Definitely Maybe. Okay, well, at least it was a film. At least I didn't make it up. Why So BlueTube? Lionsgate Limited put up the Den of Thieves collection on 4K for pre-orders. Snagged that and added the Third Man 4K too. Awesome. Let me know how the Third Man 4K is. I saw it in 4K in the theater last year, and it was amazing. I would love to own that movie on 4K, but the only 2 versions we have are crazy expensive deluxe editions. And I totally missed not Curzon. I always want to say Curzon. Is it Curzon? Whoever put out the Third Man 4K over there. Lionsgate Limited is a little cheaper, but it's still pretty expensive. I don't know if I'm going to double dip on that one or not. I might just stick with my Criterion Blu-ray. Brent, I'm excited. I'm getting the huge Frank Capra box set soon. Awesome. Well, good luck. Hope you found a good deal on it, because I, like an idiot, I waited too long, and it jumped from like $130 all the way up to $230 last time I checked. So I don't know if I'm going to get myself one. I'm a little bummed about that, but we'll see. Maybe the price will drop again. Gaming Canvas. Wait. 750 AED super chat. Isn't that like 200 USD? It does translate to 200 USD, but I don't know whether Hamdan is using iOS or not, because last time he gave me a $200 super chat, YouTube only gave me $100 of it. They took, apparently, maybe I shouldn't be talking about this behind the scenes stuff, but it's a little frustrating because I hate that he's donated that much and YouTube is taking some. Well, YouTube's not taking. Apparently, YouTube takes 30% and iOS also takes 30% if you donate through an iPhone. I don't know how it works. Apparently, they take like 60%. I don't know if what's going on with that, but hopefully it is $200 because I would like to. Well, they'll at least take 30%, so it won't be that. But I would, I want his donation to go as far as it can. I don't want them to take half of his money that he's donating. Jonathan Danner. Everyone should go purchase The Straight Story from 4K 4 Cult out of Italy in honor of David Lynch. Beautiful movie release and presentation. Yeah, that's the one big one that's missing from Criterion. I don't know if they'll ever get it because it's like a Disney production. Or it's not Disney, but it's owned by Disney because of how it was released. But I didn't know there was a new 4K. I know that there was a release from Imprint from a while ago, but that's awesome. Thanks for the heads up there, Jonathan. Hopefully that means it's coming to Criterion soon. But who knows? Who knows with Disney? Dan's then Cure. Now there's a horror movie. And Wave, same. I'm getting away from a completist mindset for collecting from boutiques. It's a dangerous way to collect. Yeah, so I totally agree. I'm finally caught up with the chat. Well, I'm not caught up, but I'm at least to the part where I was talking about resolutions. Yeah, I need to simplify a little bit. And I jumped in like gung-ho with Cinematograph last year, and I was like, I bought the first 4, and then I had to slow down on that one. They were putting them out way too fast. Like they were cranking them out every week, basically, or at least a couple a month, and I was like, I can't keep up with this. So there's a couple things I'm gonna have to let go. Focusing on bigger box sets and like, I don't know. I'm really excited about the Louis Feuillade box set of serials. Like I want to focus on that kind of stuff, like big parts of film history that I can like dive in and really get like an education with those box sets and the booklets and everything that come with it. And not that I'm not going to watch one-off movies here and there, but I do want to focus on that stuff a little bit more. John says Stray Dog is great, post-war noir. Internet user says, I wish High and Low was in 4K. Yeah, it's interesting because they just did a Kurosawa on 4K from BFI. And now they're releasing these Blu-rays. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if 4K is coming for those. Wave ordered Stray Dog, High and Low, and Cure 4K together, waiting on them to arrive. Well, I hope those get to you soon. Brent says, OMG, I'm instantly buying those 2 Kurosawa films. I think the only release we have is the Criterion DVDs, which I have. Well, I know High and Low is on Blu-ray because I have it. At least. Does it have a 4K here? I'm not sure. But he may be talking about, I don't know what he's talking about. Dan says Sahara is a World War II propaganda piece that doesn't necessarily make it bad, though. Interesting. Ooh, Jason says, I'm a big fan of Radiance. I'm only missing their first release, #1, and some of the more recent ones. Wow, you have a complete Radiance collection? See, I'm already getting jealous, but I don't need to do that. I need to not be a completist. There are some Radiance films that I want to go back and get, though. I recently just found the limited edition of Planet of the Vampires, which is one I've wanted from them for a long time. I got a good deal on eBay on that one because it's been out of print for a while, so hopefully that gets here soon and I can watch that. Messiah of Evil is another one of theirs that I want to get that I missed. I missed like the whole first few waves of Radiance. I didn't even find out about them until later. I think Elliot turned me on to Radiance, and I love their stuff. But yeah, I missed a bunch of their first releases. I think Messiah of Evil, we talked about on the show, but I didn't really know anything about it. Now, learning more about it after the fact, I really want to check that one out. Anyway, let me jump back. We'll talk about some new releases, and I'll talk to you guys in just a minute. What else do we want to cover here? I'm not going to dive into every Vincent release because there's a ton of stuff coming out, but if you want to talk about any of these specifically, let me know in the chat. We've got Running on Karma coming out, also from Eureka Entertainment. This is a Masters of Cinema series, a action film from, I think it's Japan. A monk turned bodybuilder with the gift to see into people's lives befriends a female cop and uses his gift to change the force of karma in her destiny. Sweet. So it's like a supernatural drama or supernatural action movie. Wow. Look at those traps. That's a really cool cover. It looks like it's set in, might be when did this come out? Master of Cinema 2003. Okay. So it is not a period piece. It just was made in 2003. I was looking at her camera there. I remember those cameras. A little camcorder. I still have my first camcorder that I ever bought. And it's like this big. It's a little tiny one. But yeah, Amazon, $30 for Eureka Entertainment. I forgot to mention earlier, Eureka also is selling stuff in the US now, not just the UK. So you can get those here as well. We've also got another Warner Archive release. This is Gabriel Over the White House from 1933. So an early sound film. And it's a fantasy drama romance. A political hack becomes president during the height of the Depression and undergoes a metamorphosis into an incorruptible statesman after a near-fatal accident. Here we go. classic looking, another Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer film, which is pretty cool. Anyone I know in this one? Oh, it's not going to show me the cast. Where's the cast? There's the cast. Walter Hudson, Carrie No, I don't know anyone in this one. Interesting. But a 30s film from Warner Archive. That's more what I'm expecting from Warner Archive, but Just Friends is welcome too. We've got another Warner Archive release here, Last Stand at Saber River, a 1997. Look at that mustache. There it is. Second most recognizable mustache in all of cinema. Well, I guess I should say like 70s and on cinema. I'm thinking of almost said Sam Neill. I am all over the place. Sam Elliott. That's a more recognizable mustache, I think. But this is Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck, another great mustache, and it's another Western film. We're all about Westerns this week. This seems to be the theme we've got. 1997. I have not heard of Last Stand at Saber, so that's pretty cool. We've also got anything else? We've got some big movies coming out from... Oh, interesting. So I do want to call this out. This is Icarus Films. Icarus Films is one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels that I bought from. I bought their French new wave kind of vignette film that they put out. They also have a couple films now. This is the second one from Chantal Akerman. They released one of her films, and this is another one. It's called No Home Movie. She did like a couple like home movie films. One of them like with her mom. Filmmaker Chantal Akerman documents the life of her mother, Natalie. Maybe this is the same one. Maybe I'm conflating things. Natalie Akerman, a Polish immigrant and survivor of Auschwitz. Maybe this is just the standard edition of this. Maybe that's what's happening. I'm not sure, but I almost bought this in the sale just because I thought it was cool that they were putting out a Chantal Akerman film. But that was one of those things where I was like, I need to chill out and not just buy everything because it's interesting. I need to actually focus on the films I'm going to watch right away. So I held off on that one, but let me know if you know anything about that one because I found that interesting. I also got another Icarus Films release from, I wonder if it's going to show. Is it going to show me? Yes, it is. Okay, so this is all their films. So I got 6 in Paris in the sale. I don't know if I should spoil this, but I'm going to be opening that box set from Vincent any minute now. But this is 6 in Paris, which is that 60s French New Wave film that includes an Eric Romer short, so I have to get it. And then I also picked up The Battle of Chile because I've heard nothing but incredible things about Icarus Films. It's supposed to be an amazing documentary. It's very, very long. It's in like 3 parts, but it's supposed to be like one of the best documentaries ever made. So I went ahead and grabbed that from Icarus Films too. So that's another one. Cartoona and Icarus Films are the 2 big Vincent partner labels that I'm most interested in. So I'm excited they're putting out cool stuff. I didn't realize that this No Home Movie wasn't out yet when I almost bought it. I didn't know it was a pre-order. So I'm glad I held off because that would have made my order take even longer to get here. We've also got another Kino Lorber release called Shout at the Devil. Nice slipcovered edition. There's the slipcover. Looks like yet another Western film, a Peter Hunt film starring Ian Holm and Barbara Perkins. So a Western film, another 1970s Western film, 1976 from Kino Lorber. And we've got a few more things down here. Some of these are international re-releases, so I don't want to jump into all those, but we'll do one more little sweep through here. We've got we got some time left. We're doing pretty good on time. I was worried we were going to run out of time, but we're doing good. Let's talk in the chat for a little bit. Let's see. What are people saying? Warbrer says Radiance is still only in the 90s number-wise, spine number-wise. Criterion is over 1240 now. Yeah, Criterion is pretty insane, and Arrow's getting pretty far. I bought Simple Plan, and I actually got 10 Star back there, and I was looking at the spine numbers, and they're almost like 600, so they're pretty high up there too. And I don't know if Arrow includes the UK and American releases in the same spine numbers, or if they're separate, but at least in America, they've almost got 600. Dance Den says Gabriel Over the White House is a movie where fascism is wonderful. Thanks, William Randolph Hearst. Also a definite pre-code. It's critical of the institutions. Interesting. 1933. Carrie Witt says I might put an order in with Kino soon. Orca, Sea of Love. We'll get to Orca here in just a second. Summer Rental, Uncle Buck, etc. But I'm tempted to wait for an inevitable Kino Lorber sale. Yes, Kino Lorber sales seem to happen once every month, it feels like. Anyway, they happen all the time. So hopefully we can get one of those pretty soon. Jeffrey says Elmore Leonard's Western adaptations are less of interest to me than his other crime fiction, but that Tom Selleck Western seems curious. Christopher popping in says, yo, hey, welcome, Christopher. Welcome to the stream. Carrie Witt, Tom Selleck's mustache in his too late to the screen Indiana Jones-ish movies, High Road to China. Oh, interesting. So you're actually critiquing the eras of his mustache. Patrick Craig, The Battle of Chile is incredible. I highly recommend all of Patricio Guzman's documentaries. Yeah, that's the first one I've heard of, but a lot of people, I asked about it a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people chimed in, and it has like an insane Letterboxd review. Like all 3 parts have like +4-star reviews. It's supposed to be great. I'm looking forward to it. That's one I'm really gonna have to carve out time to watch. I think I asked John if he wanted to watch it with me, and I think he's down. I think he might have to do that. Henry, DJ, give a shout out to Victor Erice's Close Your Eyes. He's a very special Spanish director, and I am interested in this new work of his. When is it coming out? I need more information because I'm also very excited about that. He has only made like 3 films, and it's been over like 4 decades. So I'm excited that he's making films again. I hope he keeps going. Have not seen it. I don't even know if it's available to stream or buy or anything. I don't know if it's coming to theaters, but I'm interested. So thank you for the shout out, Henry. Oh, thank you. Yes, Jeffrey. Jeffrey recommends, or he's mentioning Child's Play, the 13th cinematograph. 13 already. So they did do one every month last year. That's crazy. The 13th cinematograph release. It's a lesser seen Sidney Lumet movie. Yes, we're going to talk about that in just a minute here. That is one that actually looked more interesting to me than stuff we've been getting from cinematograph for a while. Ethan, I buy Arrow, but they put out a lot of bad movies, unlike Criterion. Would have no interest in a complete collection. Yeah, I really cherry pick Arrow. I think that's probably the label I have the least from. Maybe not. There's some really, like Arbalos I only have like 2 or 3 from. But of the big labels, like Arrow doesn't put out too much stuff that I have to grab. I do grab some nostalgic stuff. And they do every once in a while put out, like, I almost bought Desperate Hours this weekend. We went to a Barnes & Noble. We went to 2 different Barnes & Nobles. One of them I found the 10 star. Very excited about that. Stay tuned. But also, they had Desperate Hours, which I almost picked up because it seems really cool. It's Frederick March and Humphrey Bogart. Again, it seems like a really cool premise. Held off on it because I'm trying to be a little bit more picky, but I think I might go back before the sale's over because I'm interested in that one. Gyat, did you pick up The Keep or The Tenant from Vinegar Syndrome? I got both from Orbit and loved The Keep. Loved The Keep soundtrack, and the transfer is great. No, I missed it. I talked about at the beginning of the stream. Totally missed those ones. I also really want to get Hundreds of Beavers. I have not seen The Keep, but I hear that's like one of those unfortunate, like sad films because it kind of fell apart during production. But I'm glad you still enjoyed it. I know it's got its fan base, and I also have heard of The Tenant. I've heard of people. I think Mid-Level Media, another physical media channel that I love. I watch his videos a lot. He did like a top 10 packaging of physical media video and showed off some really cool packaging. And The Tenant was one of those because it has like a really cool window that opens up on the front. So I'm familiar with it. Have not seen it though. But I'm glad you were able to grab both of those. That's really cool. Baloney. My boutique label buying is mostly for my upcoming retirement years. I love the idea of having a wonderful, massive library of choices. Same. I mean, that's another thing. Like, I don't want to get too bogged down by trying to watch everything I buy because I've got a lot of years left, hopefully, fingers crossed. And it is about building a library for me as much as it is. I know some people will die on the hill that you should only buy movies that you've already seen and loved and will watch again. That's not my philosophy. I like to have stuff back there that I have not seen. I like to come up on a Friday night and me and Grace come in here and just look at the shelves and see what calls to us and pick it, take it downstairs and watch it together and have a great night. There's been tons of date nights that we've had, just surprises that we weren't expecting, movies that just blew us away. So I don't want to give that up. I would never switch to no blind buys. I don't think that's a great way. I mean, obviously, if you can't afford it, then yes, stick to your favorites. But if you have, and that's where I come. Because it's a little weird. Because if I was to go to a movie theater with Grace, like 60, 70, $70 for a babysitter. If we get dinner, that's going to be another $50, $60. The movie itself is going to be $25, $30. And then if we get popcorn or a drink or anything, it's going to be even more. It's insane. A date night is like $200. So buying a $30, even a $40 or $50 movie and having a date night, even if we don't love the movie, it's still cheaper than going out and doing something else, like, I don't know, anything, like bowling, axe throwing. Like, all dates are super expensive. So I don't feel like I need to see the movie before I watch it. I love doing blind buy watches, and it's cheaper than going out sometimes. And we love movies, and we have great theater setup, so it's a good time at home too. So I always push back at people who are just like, no, you should only buy movies that you're going to watch, that you've already seen, and that are your favorites, because I've had some of the best watching evenings in my life were blind buys, especially from boutique labels. So I'll always stick up for that. Let's go ahead and jump into, let me see, did I scroll past it? Here it is, Orca. Orca is getting a 4K from Kino Lorber. It's a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. 1977 Jaws ripoff about an orca whale. Look at this. Incredible poster art. I love this. I don't know if this is the original poster or not, but it's Orca the Killer Whale from Kino. Is this a Kino Cult? See, this is not a Kino Cult. I feel like this would fit perfectly in their Kino Cult line. This is just a Kino Lorber Studio Classics. I don't know how they decide what goes where, but that seems, maybe it's budgetary. Maybe this is too big of a budget to be in their Kino Cult line. But yeah, I've heard a lot of great things, or I've heard a lot of things about this one. I don't know how great it is, but a lot of people love it. That's coming out from Kino Lorber this week. And it's really cool that I got a 4K instead of just a Blu-ray. Daffy Duck's Quackbusters is something I've never heard of. This is a movie, a Looney Tunes movie from 1988. This has nothing to do with like the 50s cartoons. Or this is, look at this. This is a full feature animated film, kind of along the same lines as the Hanna-Barbera movies that Warner Archive has been putting out. So Warner Archive is putting this out. I highly support them for putting out animation. This is a film I've never heard of or seen, but my son was just watching the Warner Archive release of Yogi Bear's Great Escape earlier today. So I've been loving the animation they've been putting out. My kids have been loving it. I hope they keep doing that. I hope they keep going with the Scooby-Doo stuff and the Hanna-Barbera stuff. And I would love if they could release some Looney Tunes. I know they've been doing I guess they have been doing the Looney Tunes collections. So I guess this is in line with that, but that's really cool. I think they're doing some more animation stuff coming up. And then we've got Bang the Drum Slowly, which is the next cinematograph release from Vinegar Syndrome. This is the cover on that one. Actually, that's not the cover. That's the poster. I don't know what Blu-ray.com's doing. Let me click on the other one. There it is. So Bang the Drum Slowly, baseball film. It looks like a 1973. Just a sports drama film, getting the cinematograph treatment from Vinegar Syndrome. And then they're also releasing another one at the same time. And it was alluded to earlier in the chat. It's called Child's Play. No relation, but it sounds really interesting. I'm going to read the premise here because I took note of this one when it came out. This was one of the ones they announced during the January sale. It's an outbreak of violent behavior at the exclusive Catholic boarding school for boys, where Joe Dobbs is a popular English instructor and Jerome Malley is a widely disliked Latin and Greek teacher. When Malley begins to receive threatening notes and phone calls, he assumes that Dobbs is the caller. Sidney Lumet film, like was mentioned earlier, very forgotten Sidney Lumet, maybe not forgotten, but a lesser known Sidney Lumet film. It's got a really cool slip box on the packaging there. There's the cover of it. And that, well, actually, there's the box. If you've seen any of the cinematograph releases, that's what they look like. Nice green one we got this time. But yeah, that's coming out tomorrow. So we've got two releasing in the same week because they keep cranking those out. They're putting out a ton of 70s and 80s movies. I would love to keep up. That's the line I would love to keep up with, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's just getting too expensive. Each one of those is like $35, $40, depending on if it's a 4K or a Blu-ray. So that's unfortunate. I would have loved to keep going with those. Let me know which one of those you guys really liked in the comments, the cinematograph. Which ones are your favorite? There's a couple I'm interested in, like Shanks. Sounds pretty cool. But there's been a bunch of them that I haven't really been too excited about. So I did stop collecting that line, unfortunately. But we're getting two this week. So big week for Vincent and Cinematograph right here at the end of the month. See what people are saying. Jaws ripoffs are the best ripoffs, says Connor Nielsen. Why So Bluetooth says Orca is awesome. I hear the 4K disc is awesome as well. Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I haven't seen it. Dan says Orca is more Moby Dick than it is a killer animal attacks people movie. Oh, interesting. That's actually more interesting. I've always only heard it described as a Jaws ripoff. SLC, I also... oh, interesting. SLC, I also sent you the 3 Texas Avery Warner Archives Blu-rays on your Amazon wishlist. They are a blast. Should show up on Saturday, February 1st. Dude, that is amazing. Thank you so much. That's another thing that has been just, yeah, like I said, Warner Archive, I have a lot of that stuff that I want to pick up, but it's just hard to prioritize because they're kind of expensive. They're like $20, but they're very bare bones. I didn't even mention this Tarzan. One of the things I love that they do on these releases. This Tarzan release it has a documentary called Tarzan Silver Screen King of the Jungle, but it also has some classic cartoons. So these Warner Archives usually do classic cartoons on here, and this has I Wish I Had Wings and Moonlight for Two. So it has 2 little theatrical shorts. I don't know if they're animated or not. Oh, it says classic cartoons. So yeah, animated shorts. So that's really cool. This is an early release, so it doesn't have any animated shorts on it. But thank you so much, Avery. So Tex Avery is something that I have wanted to watch, but I haven't prioritized because I usually prioritize animated stuff for my kids. Those are not... I have to watch those first because a lot of Tex Avery stuff is not necessarily kid-friendly. So I'll have to preview those and then show the specific ones to my kids. But I've wanted to watch more of Tex Avery stuff. I got on like a kick of Tex Avery stuff back when I had TCM, when we had Hulu TV, and they did like a showcase day where they were showing like a bunch of stuff and showed a documentary. It was fascinating stuff, but I haven't got into it since then. So thank you so much, SLC. I will get that package when it comes, and I'll show it off on the next stream. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. It warms my heart that you guys got me a birthday present. It's great. It's really cool. John says, I've been this close to renting Orca several times. Do it, John. Do it. Quit chickening out. Ethan says, Bang the Drum is great. A hillbilly De Niro. That's a good selling tactic right there. Carrie Witt also says, just do it, John. Give in to the peer pressure. John, had a great time with you last night watching Sideways. John, John was drinking Negronis. I was drinking Manhattans, but we both had a couple glasses of wine after that. And John, several glasses of wine in, watching Sideways is quite the treat. I hope you guys have the opportunity to do that with him at some point in your life because it was a lot of fun. It was great. Reed Foreman just started my collection of those A24 releases with Heretic. Awesome. Yeah, that one is coming out this week as well. I think it came out. When is it coming out? That's another one that I saw at Barnes & Noble already. It was already on the shelves this weekend, but I don't know when that comes out. I think we already talked about that. So I think it came out last week. But glad you found yourself a copy. I don't have a copy yet, but it's one that I'm more interested in. That's one of the more interesting ones that I'm looking forward to this year. I haven't seen a lot this year, but I wanted to check that one out. What else are people saying? Baloney. Blind buys are awesome discoveries that have a built-in recommendation factor by the companies that release them. I love buying them. Yeah, I've already said my piece on blind buys. I used to be very anti-blind buy. I've had ups and downs. Like, boutique blind buys are a different animal than studio blind buys because they're already like, beloved films that if they're well known enough, except for like Arrow or something like Ethan mentioned earlier, but usually if they're well known enough for Radiance to put it out or Criterion or something, then it's at least a good chance that you're going to like it. And I've always had good experience with blind buys. The ratio is pretty good. Let's see what else we've got. I think we've covered most everything from this week. I think we might have covered everything. I think we're good. We got one more here from, I skipped this one. I should mention this because I just mentioned a lot of animation stuff. From Warner Archive Collection, we've got Frankenstein Jr. and The Impossibles, the complete series from 1966 to 1977. This looks like a Hanna-Barbera thing. I have never heard of it, but it looks like Hanna-Barbera to me. So it's like a superhero Universal Monster crossover type thing. It looks like Big Hero 6 is what it looks like. And you can't even see it because I'm not even sharing the screen. Sorry about that. Frankenstein Jr. and The Impossible. So it's like, doesn't this look like Big Hero 6? It looks like a little kid with this robot that he's flying around on. And then there's a little like superhero team down here. That is bananas looking. That looks bonkers. Hanna-Barbera has some crazy stuff, if that is indeed Hanna-Barbera. But that's another, yes, it is, right there, directed by Joseph Barbara and William Hanna. So that's another whole series. I know they did Top Cat, the complete series. So Warner Archive Collection is doing a lot of that stuff, which is very cool. And then the last one here is another Tarzan movie that I don't want to miss because I love Tarzan movies. But this is not from Warner Archive. This is from Film Masters. And it's just a few years after Tarzan the Ape Man. It's The New Adventures of Tarzan. So it looks like it's a series. It's 257 minutes from Film Masters. It's like a serial. Interesting. All 12 chapters featuring Herman Brix, the world-famous athlete. That's what I love about Tarzan movies, is it's never an actor. Like, nobody was in shape back then in the 30s. Like, it wasn't until... Like, if you look at, like, all the action shows, like Star Trek and Batman and all those shows, they're just, like, schlubby, middle-aged guys. But, I mean, it wasn't until, like, Arnold, really, where bodybuilding became such a huge thing, and now all actors have to look massive and huge. The only people that were big back then were athletes. So all the Tarzan actors are, like, Olympic athletes and football players. And it's really funny. So this is Herman Brix, world-famous athlete and Olympic Games champion. So he's playing Tarzan in this. I'm assuming he doesn't say much because a lot of the Tarzans don't really speak because they're not actors, but they look great. And there's another one. I have not seen The New Adventures of Tarzan. I didn't even know that was a thing. But it's really cool that already, just like 3 years after this first like Tarzan sound feature, they're already doing like a full series, like a throwback to the serials. I know there was a bunch of Tarzan serials before that, but which also I think starred like a football player. But anyway, that seems fun. I don't own any Film Masters releases, but they always put out really cool stuff that we talk about here on the channel. A lot of other stuff that no other boutique label's putting out, so I like to support them. I don't think they, there's not a lot of bells and whistles, and I don't think they ever do 4K stuff, but they're putting out movies that no one else is, so I want to support them. Let's see what people are saying. Carrie Witt, DJ, you do recommend Little Darlings, yes? Yes, absolutely. I put it on my top 10 of last year in that video. I love Little Darlings. Really, really enjoyed that one, and it's the best thing Cinematograph has released so far. I also liked Red Rock West, but I think I like Little Darlings more. Avery, I disliked my Arrow Sail Blind by Legend, but I still had tons of fun finding something insane I'd never heard of and making a memory. Exactly. Some of those are the most fun. I mean, I don't think Conan the Destroyer is that good, is that great, but I enjoyed the crap out of watching it with those guys when that came out last year, and it helps that it came with the first film, so we did have that one. But yeah, Arrow's a little bit more hit and miss, like we talked about already. Christopher Heretic is one of my favorite films of last year. I did enjoy Legend, by the way. I thought it was quite interesting. Christopher Heretic is one of my favorite films of last year. I also got the 4K of it from A24. Don't really like the packaging, but it is an amazing movie. I'm looking forward to watching it. Hopefully I can pick that one up soon. We have most of those A24 releases now. And that's one that I've been wanting to watch this year. Brent, I love how anti-Merlot Paul Giamatti's character is in Sideways. I mean, it's not that bad. We didn't drink any Merlot. Of course, we didn't drink any Merlot last night. We were drinking Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Noir is what we were drinking. The two that are really highlighted in that film. So it was perfect. But yeah, no Merlot. Can't say the famous line on YouTube, but it's amazing. We were screaming it last night. Kevin House, you might want to wait several years before you show your son Tex Avery's Red Hot Riding Hood. He'll really appreciate it then. LOL. Yeah, there's several of those. Several of those Tex Avery cartoons that are not for kids, which is fine, because they never were intended for kids. They're not kids' things. But some of them, I think, are appropriate. Mark, I just have to watch through and see which ones. Let's see. Connor Nielsen, Lionsgate Limited doing a double pack steelbook of Den of Thieves? Who wants that? Dan's Den says Frankenstein Jr. and The Impossible is the name, same mold as Space Ghost or Birdman, but more comedic. They had a whole run of superhero shows back then. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never even seen any of Hong Kong Phooey. I was pretty much only a Scooby-Doo kid. All the other Hanna-Barbera stuff just missed me. For some reason, my grandma would always watch Scooby-Doo with me, but we never watched any of the other stuff. Oh man, I just lost the chat. Let me scroll back up. Carrie Witt, DJ, I also bought the A24 Heretic. It's quite good, And design-wise, it looks so awesome with those UPC spines they do, including the Lamb 4K I won from you that arrived last week. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad. Both of the guys mentioned that they got the giveaway releases. Glad you got it. I had no way of knowing when it was delivered, so glad you got it. Hope you enjoy that one. So it says, so you have 2 of those now? Keep it going, man. If you want. I mean, don't feel like you have to complete the entire A24 collection, but I like those releases, and I'm going to pick up the ones that are interesting to me. There's some that I don't have, but I have a few of them. Internet user, Tarzan's hair is way too nice. He's supposed to live in the jungle. Yeah. That was something that was cool about the 1999 animated version that Disney did, is he's living in the jungle, so he's kind of got like dreadlocks, which is cool, because that's what would happen. I like that movie more than most people, I think. I know it has its fans, but I feel like at least a lot of people I talk to don't like that Tarzan movie. I like the Disney Tarzan. I think it's a lot of fun. I haven't watched it in a long time though. Let's see. Let me scroll back up here and see if I can find something. Henry says, Close Your Eyes is coming out tomorrow. You bypassed it. It is on your Blu-ray titles tonight. Interesting. Let me scroll back up. Scroll back up here. Which one did I miss? Close Your Eyes. Well, I don't see it right off. I might have to look for that in a minute here. But thanks for shouting it out, Henry. If you could tell me where it is, because there's a lot of stuff on here. But let me know. Let me know. Close Your Eyes. I guess I could search. That's easier than just scrolling through the dozens and dozens of movies that are coming out this week. There it is. Close Your Eyes, 2023. Wow, I didn't even see this. This is from Film Movement. A film by... Oh, there it is. There it is. Thank you. So this is the Victor Arise film. I actually want to read what this is about because I haven't heard about it yet. A film director investigates the sudden disappearance of an actor friend years earlier in this slow-burning Spanish-Argentine drama, which sensitively explores themes of memory, illness, and loss. Interesting. So it doesn't seem to be like on theme with the rest of his filmography. He does like a lot of films about childhood and like loss of innocence stuff, or like I say a lot. He's done 2 films. So this is his 3rd one, but it seems like he's mixing it up and doing something a little different. So Film Movement's putting this out. Interesting choice. Not really a boutique label. I guess it technically counts as a boutique label, but I'm glad they're putting it out on physical. That's really cool. Thank you, Henry, for catching that one. Totally missed it. That's sorry about that, but thank you. Dan's Dan Herman Bricks later became known as Bruce Bennett. He was in The Treasure of Sierra Madre. Thank you, Dan's Dan, for all of your always interesting little trivia facts that you throw out. Patrick says Salt of the Earth from Filmmasters is a must-buy. Previously banned film because of its class consciousness. Wow. Salt of the Earth from Filmmasters. So you have some Filmmasters releases. Thank you. Let me know if there's any other Filmmasters, because I've looked at a couple of those, but I've never pulled the trigger on them. Robert also, wow, very similar comments, right one after the other. He says Herman Bricks later changed his name to Bruce Bennett, which Patrick just said, but he says he played Joan Crawford's first husband in Mildred Pierce, one of my favorite film noirs. I think that's, well, it's easily a top 10 film noir for me. It might be top 5. It's really good. I loved Mildred Pierce. Although we watched a lot of good things last November, that it might have bumped down a little bit, but it's still way up there. Great sideways quotes in the chat. Michael Smith wants me to talk about what I love about Bela Tarr. I would recommend you check out my video about my experience with Satan Tango, because I talked about most of it in there. I mean, I talked about all of my experience with him in there. And I don't want to get too far into it on this stream, but yeah, check out that video because I talked about it and I liked it quite a bit. And I'm looking forward to checking out Workmeister Harmonies. That's going to be on the top of my list. As far as watching goals for this month, well, this month's almost over, but I have a couple more winter movies I want to watch because I am... me and John keep threatening to do the top 10 winter movies, but there's a couple more things I want to watch before we do that because I want to give them a chance. One of them is Marketa Lazarova, Czech film that is supposed to be very wintry and very, very good, which I'm looking forward to. And then I also want to watch My Winnipeg, which is like a pseudo fantasy documentary that takes place in winter as well. It's about the city of Winnipeg. So those two I want to knock out before I make that list, because I want to give them a chance of making the list. But after that, I'm starting to transition out of winter movies, and then I want to get into like some of those box sets that I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to start watching some Belatar and some Kieslowski and some Fassbinder. So that's what's coming up on the horizon. Another thing that happened last year is I got a lot more new releases than I've ever gotten, so it kind of pushed away some of the older stuff that I had been buying secondhand on eBay. So I want to prioritize some of that stuff this year. I don't want to completely do old stuff, but I don't want to completely buy or watch new stuff either. I want to get a good balance of both. Let's see. Avery, please get The Brutalist when A24 releases it. My favorite of the year by far. Oh, I've heard such great things about The Brutalist. It is doing really well in like the awards. It's up for a lot of awards. It's been nominated for several things. I've heard great things about it. I've heard it's really long, but I heard it's worth it, which I'm looking forward to check out. Grace is going to probably start knocking out all of those awards contenders here in the next couple weeks before the Oscars. So I'll cherry pick and watch the ones I want to with her. She's going to watch all of them because she likes to do that. She likes to keep up, but I don't think I'm going to watch all of them, but there's a couple that I'm interested in. I'm interested in Wicked. I haven't seen that yet. She really liked that one. I'm interested in The Brutalist. I am interested in Heretic. I don't think Heretic got nominated for anything, but there's a few. There's a few that I want to check out. I want to catch up a little bit on last year. Baloney DJ, is sound important to you? Dolby Atmos, DTS, etc. I would like, so I put a lot of money into my theater. I got a really nice projector, but I got a 4K Epson projector. I got a 4K, obviously you have to get a 4K setup to play that, but I did not replace the speakers. So I have no idea what kind of speakers he has in there. He set up this theater a while ago. I'm talking about the guy I bought the house from, because the theater was already set up. I had to replace the projector because he only had a 720p projector in there. So I really had to replace that. So I'm assuming the speakers as well are not the best. It's very loud, but I don't know if I'm getting I'm probably not getting very, very diverse sound. So I would love to, that's kind of another goal of this year, is to invest, stop buying as many movies and invest in like a better sound system. So if you guys have any recommendations for like affordable but really good speaker systems, I don't think I want to buy like an out of box set. I think I want to like do one at a time. So maybe get the center speaker first, then get the side speakers, then get some nice surround sounds. He didn't even have a subwoofer in there. So I don't even have a subwoofer. So I probably need to get one of those first actually, and then get the focus on updating the center speaker. But yeah, I would love to get a better sound system this year. That's a goal of mine. It's not as important to me. I'm not really an audiophile. The movies are the most important thing. I'm not even really like a picture quality expert. I just like the movies most of all. But the projector is doing wonders for some of the releases. Like we watched the 4K, the Universal Essentials 4K of Big Lebowski this weekend when we watched it, and it looks incredible. It looks really, really good. So I would like to have a sound system that kind of lives up to my video quality. But I don't know. That's not something I'm an expert in. So I have to do some research. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. Oh yeah, Jay Breeze. Let me see what they just said. But thanks for the question, Baloney. That's a great question, and it's something that I want to take more seriously this year. Let's see, Jay Brone Zone. What's with the Just Friends Blu-ray not being up for pre-order? I need it. I want it. Yeah, I noticed that. It's not available on Amazon right now. I don't know. I guess you have to wait till tomorrow. I guess they're waiting till day one to drop. I don't know why they're doing that. Usually I can put links in the description, and I will put links in the description for everything that's available. A lot of stuff isn't available right now because it's some of it's sold out and some of it's apparently not available to pre-order. But I will put links in the description if you want to grab any of these titles that we talk about tonight. Joshua LeBure, I can't wait for the Sing Sing Blu-ray, criminally underrated. That's another great one I've heard about. That's coming to A24 too, so I may pick that one up as well. Thank you, Joshua, for the shout out. Mark picked up Who Killed Teddy Bear from Cinematograph, a longtime favorite for me. That's really cool. That's the other one. So Shanks and Who Killed Teddy Bear were like the two Cinematograph releases that I was interested in grabbing. It's cool that it's one of your favorites because we've talked about stuff before, and it sounds like we have similar tastes. That's really cool. I may pick those two up at some point. Shanks is like William Castle's last film. It's like a weird 70s bizarre surreal movie about like an evil mad professor or something. It looks fun. It looks cool. It looks like something I'll like. But Teddy Bear from Killed Teddy Bear sounds pretty cool too. I might have to grab that one. I wish they would come down in price though. $40 is a lot for those. Internet user says Workmeister Harmonies is definitely a winter film. Awesome. So that could be a good I guess I could do that. I could watch that as my last winter film and then continue going on that box set a little bit. That'd be a good Thank you, man. I didn't realize that. Let's see. Patrick, oh, please watch Marquetta Lazarova, one of my top 10 to 20 criterions. Yeah, I think I'm not going to make the list until I watch that one because I feel like it's going to make my top 10. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but so many people have recommended that to me specifically. I have loved all the Czech films I've been watching lately. I just watched another one from Deaf Crocodile, which just came out. I'm going to be talking about that pretty soon. It's called The Golden Fern, and it's awesome, and it's really, really good. So I'm excited to check that one out as well. Thanks for the recommendation, Patrick. I always take your recommendations because you know my stuff. You know my tastes pretty well. Internet user says the Decalogue series is also wintry. Yeah, that's why I want to knock those two out. I've been told to watch the Decalogue around like January, February. So hopefully I can get through some of those. At least, maybe even if I don't get through all 10, at least I can watch the first few. But I don't think I'll include that on my top 10 list because they're not films. It's a TV series, but I still want to watch them because I'm very excited to watch those. Carrie Witt, Brutalist. Go see it in a theater. It's pretty awesome. I do want to see it in the theater because it's a long one, and I always do better in the theater with those because you can't pause. You got to focus and I think there's an intermission, which is kind of cool. Dan's Den saw The Brutalist and the Seed of the Sacred Fig both this weekend. I didn't love The Brutalist only because the ending didn't hit for me, but Sacred Fig was a real powerful ride. Awesome. That one isn't even on my radar. Kevin House also just saw The Brutalist today and was very impressed. It does have a 15-minute intermission, which helps with the length. Joshua Andrews, have you seen the Hitchcock The Beginning set from Studio Canal? That's what it was. Studio Canal is the one that put out The Third Man. Thank you. That was driving me nuts. Been making my way through it and really enjoying it. Have the goal of watching every Hitchcock film / TV episode before the end of 2025. That's a great goal. That's a lofty goal. He did a lot of stuff. Didn't also... almost said VistaVision. ViaVision just put out a DVD box set of the Alfred Hitchcock's Presents show. Are you including that? Because that's on physical media. You can grab that now. I think they just put that out recently. I've seen quite a few Hitchcock movies, but I've not seen anywhere near all of them. That's a big goal, man. Good luck with that. I hope you make it through. And I have seen that box set. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Hitchcock fan. I think Grace is a bigger Hitchcock fan than me. There's a couple of his films that I just are on my top 50 films. I love. Rebecca is incredible. Rear Window, one of my favorite films, definitely top 50. And then Psycho, also top 50 film for me. Very, very high. I love those three, but I'm not I like all of his films, but they're not all my favorite films. But there's still, I haven't seen a lot of his earlier stuff. I've seen all the black and white ones that Criterion put out. I've seen all the Hitchcock films that Criterion's put out, but there's a ton of early stuff, like you said, that's not included. And that's really cool that Studio Canal put out that box set. There's been a lot of Hitchcock box sets coming out lately, especially the last couple of years. Owen says the first half of The Brutalist is fantastic. Second half is still strong, but not quite my favorite. And yeah, I'm hearing mixed things. I don't think Connor was the biggest fan of it either, but he did like it. And the chat just jumped away from me. I hadn't heard that, Carrie Witt. On the topic of this stream, can we mention how crazy it is that Nosferatu 4K Steelbook was announced a few days ago and sold out everywhere in less than a day? Crazy times. I didn't even hear about that. That is crazy. Eggers is one of those directors that has a really, really strong fan base. I might go see that, by the way. I haven't seen Nosferatu yet. A friend of mine who also has a birthday this month, we might go out this week sometime and celebrate our birthdays. And I asked if he wanted to go see Nosferatu because he hasn't seen it yet either. He was a huge fan of his last film, The Northman? Northman, that's what it's called. But he hasn't seen Nosferatu yet, so I might go watch that with him. I do want to check it out. It sounds interesting to me, but I didn't realize that it went out of print. Eggers, I guess there's a few directors that are like that. Obviously Nolan, everyone knows about the big sellout of Oppenheimer. we did get more eventually. So I'm sure that'll happen with this as well, hopefully. I don't think they'll probably do a second run of that Steelbook, I would think. But it is interesting that they didn't think to order like a big enough order for that. You would think they would know that Robert Eggers is like one of the big film bro directors that a lot of people are big on right now. So that seems like a pretty big oversight from whatever company put that out. Avery says, don't skip Nickel Boys when you're picking Oscar contenders. It's shot almost entirely in point of view. Never seen a movie like it. My second favorite. I'm assuming they mean of the year. Really cool. I have not heard about that one. Actually, John just watched it a couple days ago. He mentioned it. Dan Stan says, Nickel Boys is incredible. And Joshua Buer says, skip Emilia Perez. Horrific. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people not liking that one. Divested Puppet. 81 people watching. Likes are for free. Let's get these likes up. Thank you so much. Great name. I butchered it, but thank you so much for popping in the stream and giving a shout out there. Joshua LeBure, Nickel Boys is incredible. That director's first film, Hail Country this evening, was so beautiful as well. Ethan says, I bought Polk speakers years ago because all the tech sites gave them great reviews. You should read reviews. Oh yeah, I mean, I do. I've looked up on Wirecutter. I've done some research. I've looked at like the best affordable ones on Wirecutter. I do have a Polk soundbar in our living room, which I'm not crazy about. It's cool. I mean, it's nice. It's better than, but I feel like I just grabbed whatever was at Best Buy when I bought that. And I didn't get the best. I don't want to get the best quality, but I do want to get a little bit of a nicer one. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research, but I have some stuff in my Amazon wish, not this Amazon wish list, a different Amazon wish list, that's just for me. So I'm keeping up with some stuff according to like Wirecutter articles and stuff. So I'm looking at it, but if you have any recommendations, I'll still take them. But I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want to grab. Owen says Nickel Boys is my top pick for Best Picture for sure. Would have been Sing Sing if it were nominated. Yeah, so there's some really cool stuff. It always happens like this. It seems like it's an underwhelming year, and then we get to the end of the year, and all of this stuff comes out all at once, and I have to play catch up. Ben Russ says, watch I'm Still Here, my favorite film of the year, and one of the best performances of the year. I haven't even heard of that one. Thanks, Ben Russ. Is it Ben Russ? Am I saying your name right? Hopefully I am, but you're a great contributor on the channel. I always read your comments, and I hope I'm saying your name right. Joshua says, he's talking to Owen. Mark says, get the new 4K of The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. The 7.1 sound will make a believer out of you. Well, I don't have a 7.1 system, so I'm sure it'll still sound good, though. But yeah, I have not even seen that film. Kevin House, DJ, you definitely should check out Hitchcock's Shadow of a Doubt from 1943. It's a great film. Mark also recommends Hitchcock's Lifeboat. Sam Smith popping in the chat. So good, Ethan. Welcome. What's up, Sam? How you doing? Good to hear from you. Josh says, yeah, Viavision just released the 80s show in a deluxe set, and they also released the old show on DVDs last year. I'm planning on watching all of the episodes he did, plus the 52 films. Saw 13 in January. Holy, that's amazing. Wow. That's a lot of watching. You're going to watch all, what was it? How many episodes? You just said all the episodes. I think there's a lot of episodes. That's crazy. You're going to have a full watch list just from that one director. Baloney says the 39 Steps from Criterion is great. I bought it on Laserdisc years ago, and I bought the Blu-ray edition. 39 Steps was one of my favorites that we watched. We watched the Criterion Blu-ray last year, and we liked it quite a bit. Ethan Yeager, I'm always late. Hope everyone's having a good night. LOL. We are. We're having a great conversation. Don't feel bad, Ethan. Thanks for popping in. We've already got a bunch of Ethans in here, so one more is definitely welcome. Benner says, you are saying my name right. Thanks for asking. Good. I like to ask. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Strangers on a Train is a must-see Hitchcock. Again, another one. I can't believe I forgot that one. That's another one of my favorites. I also really liked Rope. But yeah, Strangers on a Train is great. That's one I like to rewatch. That was an early one that I saw. Owen says, yeah, Emilia Perez, and I'm probably saying that wrong. But Perez is quite awful. LOL. Zoe Saldana is, I think it's Emilia Perez is how you say it. Zoe Saldana is pretty great for the most part, but that's about it. Yeah, I know she's getting nominated for her performance, but I think it's getting a lot more. I think people are upset about that it's getting more accolades than people think it should, because the Letterboxd score is like really low, surprisingly low. Ethan Yeager says, just picked up 12 Monkeys, American Werewolf in London, and the Mexico trilogy in the Arrow sale. Also watched The House on Haunted Hill. Very cool watch. Well, good job, man. Oh, interesting. Wow, I didn't. Ethan Edwards says this Ethan is actually a Joe. What? What? You're breaking my brain, Ethan. I've read hundreds of comments from you, and you're telling me you've been lying to me this whole time. Your name's Joe? What's the matter with you? What's your real name? Is Ethan your real name and you just go by Joe? I feel like I've my whole life's been a lie, Ethan. I'm a little perturbed right now. You gotta explain yourself. Owen says 2.4 on Letterboxd is pitiful. LOL. Yeah, I guess someone likes it. But yeah, Letterboxd is not being kind to it. My goodness, we're already at an hour 30. We're already done. This is a crazy week. We did have a lot of stuff to cover, but you guys were also very entertaining with your questions and comments. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you all, as always, for the recommendations. I of course can't take everyone's recommendations, but I do really appreciate them. And it helps me prioritize certain things. Like if it's already on my watch list, and I keep getting several recommendations from people, it's great. I really appreciate it because it always helps me figure out what to watch. Because it can be a little paralyzing to look at the shelf and be like Connor knows. Connor was just here. We came in here, and it took us a long time to decide that we were going to watch Big Lebowski, but we finally did, and it was totally worth it because it was amazing. Ethan Everett says, one day it will all make sense. Anyway, thank you guys so much. All the Ethans, all the Joshes, and all the other people in the chat. We've got several people with the same name. And thanks for the new folks this evening. We had a lot of names that I've never read before getting in on the conversation. Really appreciate it. It was a big night. There was like over 80 people here. So thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you again for hitting the like button and commenting on this video. And we're going to do another one next week. Of course, we do the show every week, and we're getting into February next week. So I can't see what's coming. I had to switch over to the next month. But I'm sure it's going to be a big... Yes. Oh, yes. This is a big week, of course. We've got Wicked coming out. We've got Twin Peaks A to Z getting a re-release. Punch Drunk Love getting a 4K. Sacrifice getting a 4K. We almost watched that this weekend. It was playing in the theater. It was playing at the Plaza Theater, but we did not get a time to watch it. It was playing at a weird time. It was playing at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so we couldn't make it. But that's coming to 4K next week from Kino Lorber. We've got A Real Pain coming out, another one from this year that I kind of wanted to see. So yeah, tune in next week. We'll have a bunch more conversation about movies and physical media, and I can't wait to see you guys then. Same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell your friends, and we'll do that next week. Appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much for the engagement tonight. And until next time, keep collecting, and I'll be back with another one real soon.